Hello. So, day 3. I'm going to lose track of these days. I know I will. Hi. I'm posting on YouTube again. This is one of my ways of getting out into the public eye a bit more as I build my independent practice. I'm a nurse by trade, a registered nurse. I've worked in mental health for 20 plus years, and I provide psychotherapy. I also do energy medicine therapy. I'm a gardener as well, mindful nurse gardener. And I bring in nature into my wellness and many different modalities or methods. So, and I can get into those another time as well. One of the things that I do a lot of is psychoeducation, because building our awareness to where we're at in each moment is key. It's so important. And non-judgmental awareness is also key, because there's a piece there around self-compassion and meeting ourselves kind of where we're at, and not judging ourselves, because that'll just cause, put more fuel to the fire, sort of thing. So today I thought I'd talk about awareness a bit, and some of the tools that I've used along the way to support my awareness and then teach others around their own awareness, and kind of meeting so they can meet themselves wherever they're at. So there's a couple models you can use. My husband's a first responder, and one of the models that I have found that they use along the way and on different peer teams and mental health wellness programming is the mental health continuum model. So this one is, it's kind of shiny, it's harder to see, but if you look at the mental health continuum of, if you look this up, mental health continuum model, you'll find this one. This one I like because it has little things that you can do if you're, you find yourself in the healthy zone, which is great, and or if you find yourself in the reacting zone, and it's the yellow. Kind of reminds me of going slow. Or, if you're going more into the injured place or ill. And so this is one of the models you can use or bring into, common language into your workplace if you like. So this is also when I worked for the Canadian Armed Forces. This is also a model they use to build awareness, it's great. It's like, I'm feeling like I'm more in the, yellow zone today. So what can I do? Well, I can recognize what my limits are today. I can get some adequate rest, food, and exercise, engage in some healthy coping, and identify and minimize any of the stressors that are coming up for me, right? And so that's, one of the things that we can do when we notice ourselves reacting, so we can respond. Another model, I just dropped something here, that I've that I love as well is Dr. Dan Siegel talks about this one, and it's on the window of tolerance. And this is a scale that we brought up for nurse-to-nurse peer support when we do education with nurses. And I like this one because this one, it's not linear, even though there's a scale, but that could be the subjective units of distress that a person could be in this scale there. But it teaches you this one, am I hyper aroused or activated, or am I more on that hypo aroused or activated state? So if you're in that hypo aroused place, that's more of the shutdown. Your brakes are slamming on, sympathetic system, both sides. The parasympathetic is like slamming on your brakes so hard that you're emotionally withdrawn or shutting down or checking out. You can also be like from a behavioral perspective, checking out on our phones. I know I've been guilty of that. And or using substances in another way, we can really like numb ourselves. And no doubt we do it because of the things that we have to deal with, or life and the stressors. It's just like when we notice it, well, we don't know what we don't know, right? So this is why I like these different types of awareness tools, and there's many other ones that other people use as well. And just get online and see what it is that you might like. If you're in that hyper aroused place, that's where you see anxiety, you see excess worry. You'll see your body will be responding because of that vagal nerve that runs through our whole system, right? So, if we're in one place or the other, if we're hypo or hyper aroused, if we're more hypo, our heart or our breaths, we might be holding our breath. Our heart might really slow. But when we're hyper, in that hyperactivated place, heart is pumping fast. You get those palpitations in your heart. You might have, that's where you might have those panic attacks. You're really feeling the fear. You're feeling like you're very reactive in that place. And again, no doubt, because this is just a natural response, a reaction that happens when we go to these places due to stress, traumatic stress, memories that come up for us that are from our past. And, those different things that, we might not even know, might not even recognize or know why this is happening. But once we do know, there are some really good strategies that we can put in place. Another tool I like to use to support folks and myself and keep my awareness, I like to be aware, because I find that that's the opportunity to get in there. I feel like when these symptoms or symptomology or things, we get out of our window, that safe zone, or that place where we can function well, we can take in information, we can have conversations, we're not isolating, we're having a pretty good day. But when we get outside of our window, that's when it's hard to, function in life and be around people, and we might isolate more, and we might be reactive with our family. And so another self-assessment is having stress, symptoms of stress. And this one, it goes into, it's very little. It's on the Nurse to Nurse or n2nps.com website. You can find it there. Physical symptoms, you could have headaches or sleeping difficulties or dizziness, back pain, like chronic pain, like why are we having pain, right? That tension in our body and for so long. We could be just tired, or it could be like in the behavioral realm of things, symptoms, so excess smoking or drinking or bossiness or unhealthy eating, or critical, our attitude and our thoughts, like checking in on those, like the critical attitude, grinding our teeth at night. Emotional symptoms could be crying, nervousness, anger, loneliness, get easily upset, edgy, unhappy for no reason, boredom, no meaning to things or life kind of thing, crying, or not crying at all because it just shut down, right? Cognitive symptoms could be trouble thinking, forgetfulness, indecisiveness, thoughts of running away, constant worry, loss of sense of humor, memory loss, lack of creativity, forgetfulness, those cognitive things. And spiritual symptoms, so emptiness, loss of meaning, doubt, martyrdom, looking for magic, loss of direction, apathy, need to prove self, unforgiving, doubt. Relational symptoms, so with relationships, right? So isolation, intolerance to others, I would say even towards self as well. Resentment, loneliness, lashing out, nagging, distrust, lack of intimacy, just to name a few, right? It's not an exclusive list, but just, and if we find these things, it's hard to hear, like it is. I remember going through this list and thinking, oh crap. The one thing about having this list is that, or these tools, is that it can put a language around it for us. So if we need to reach out to our doctor and take some time off, if we need to reach out to our therapist and get a note for insurance, say, purposes, we have the language to put behind what is happening to us, right? It can also be like a mark in time. So, this time I went to see my therapist and I did all the stress symptoms, and, it was so much before, but now this time I went and I've been putting in these strategies of coping, and it's, that much less. And these things are working for me because I'm consistently doing it. There's another chart. It's kind of more in, and maybe I'll go over this a little bit more, and I talked about it a little bit. It's a polyvagal theory chart of trauma response or traumatic stress, and I would even say like chronic stress, because, I'll get into this another time. Chronic stress and traumatic stress can look a lot very similar within the nervous system and within the person. It's just the difference would be the person with traumatic stress has a trauma that's deep-rooted and needs to be processed. So, and this one was a 2008 Ruby J. Walker, and this is Southwest Trauma Training. It was just a good one I liked as well because it brought in the polyvagal as well. So looking more at the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, and when we're putting on the brakes really hard, and or we're in the gas. So the gas would be the hyper, and then the opposite would be the hypo. Yeah, lots of information though. Don't want to make this video too long today. So essentially, find some tools. Oh, another one more. I like this one when I'm working with families. It's the zones of regulation. And I do have a chart. It's on my fridge. It came in really supportive within COVID when the kids were reacting more to all the stress around them and in school and whatnot. And it has colors. So red is stop, blue is sad, yellow is slow down, and what other color? Yellow? Silly? I think was the other one. Yeah, and that's a really good one as well. So the zones of regulation to help support you and your awareness within your family, because there is a concept called co-regulation. So a lot of us live with others and or have to be around other humans, and to respond and be regulated and be within our window is a nice place to be. It's not realistic all the time, but that zones of regulation can help if you have young kids. So just a few tools to talk about. So that was the mental health continuum model, the window of tolerance, Dr. Dan Siegel, symptoms of stress, self-assessment. You can go on to the www.n2nps.com and find that one, in the polyvagal chart of trauma response, and that's through the Southwest Trauma Training. And really these are just tools to not diagnose, but tools to bring in awareness if that's something that supports you, and to find some language around what might be happening to you in this moment, and then the next, and then the next. Okay, I hope you find that helpful. If you have any questions or you want to learn more, soon Mindful Nurse Gardener will be opening up, and yeah, I'll be letting you know when that time comes. And this is a lot of like the education piece that's important to increase our awareness, and something that I used and I continue to use in my recovery when I was coming out of traumatic stress. Okay, thank you. Have a good day, people. Bye.